Alex is gonna go fix it. Thankfully, it looks like it's working right now. But Alex, best co-caster in the world, and our upcoming Lake of Rage podcast guest as well. If you're interested in the Pokemon trading card game and you like podcasts, be sure to check out Lake of Rage.
He's asking for advice on how to adjust the camera.
It's good. All right, so see, Jake going first with Dragapult in this matchup feels pretty darn good. I mean, going first in general is just so good. Gets down some Sobbles, gets down a Pult. I assume if there's an energy in hand, Jake is sitting pretty. Although it does not look like there's an energy in Jake's hand. Ooh. Jake forgetting that they went first. Thankfully, Elliot caught that. Now, Elliot is back in the driver's seat here. Suicune and Ice Rider in the same deck, so Elliot kind of pivot between both. There is some gold card getting discarded. I don't know which one because all of the items are gold. As soon as you sat down, it froze again. Chat, we are going to investigate this again, I promise. It's moving again. This is that situation where you call the tech person, and as soon as they look at it, it works, and when they stop looking at it, it stops working. As soon as you walked away, it worked. So Alex is currently watching. So we'll see if Alex standing over there keeps it working. There's a retreat into the Ice Rider, and we're going to see a Pierce here for 40. So now Jake does have Marnie in hand. We know that. And the top deck of the energy. Oh, only one card away. That hurts because otherwise this would have been a much stronger turn 2. With that energy attachment last turn. Yeah, it's totally fine. You know, Captain, I think that's right.
Who went first?
Who went first? Jake went first. But Jake missed the energy attachment, so Jake may as well have gone second. Yeah. Or do I get to go home? I think it's a 50-50, but the fact that Jake went first and Elliot currently is ahead, I think that's good for Elliot. But with that said, it is way too early to tell. It feels like a 50-50 to me, but I've never played this matchup. My take on the Astros existing is I don't like it. If the Astros could stop being a thing, that would be great.
Mariners next year, though.
Next year? You think so?
No.
There's the Mariners fan.
I'm a true Mariners fan.
Yeah, you don't actually believe in them. You can't. Real Mariners fans can't believe it.
No, Mariners fans have lived through it.
Yeah, you know.
Real Mariners fans have gone through this shit for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a baby of the, I went to high school in the 90s. These were the prime days.
You're old.
They were great. We were winners.
Yeah.
The Mariners build a Death Star.
Kinda.
That's what the title
It was
is.
good too.
There are some good years in there. There's some good years.
Some great years.
Literally,
Those are
there's
great players.
at one point where we had either the best player or the second best player of all time at their respective position on the same team.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of argument that Ken Griffey is either number 1 or number 2 center fielder. Alex Rodriguez number 1 or number 2 shortstop.
Wow, there's a lot of good center fielders.
But I mean, you can't argue that. I mean, he's got the fourth most home runs of all time, and Willie Mays is the only. Willie Mays hits. He was center fielder.
Yeah.
That's the only one. Number 1 or number 2. There's your debate for center field. Shortstop, A-Rod, arguably number 1 or number 2.
Yes.
Edgar Martinez, either number 1 or probably actually a solid number 2 for DH, only behind David Ortiz.
Oh, yeah, I
And
guess
you have
I'll-
Randy Johnson, one of the best left-handed pitchers of all time.
Yes.
So how do you? He's a top 5 in that category too. So like at some point, they had the number 1 or number 2.
But during that time, they would have been number 1s.
Right, because at this point you can argue that Mike Trout's better in center field, or by the end of his career he will be.
Yeah, but
That's a lot of career left.
Mike
there.
Trout wasn't playing during that.
Exactly. So at the time, the best or the second best of all time at their respective positions, on the same team, and yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to the game, Elliott appears to have missed the VMAX, which is so huge.
Oh my God, this is a bad game.
Nixter, thank you for the 4 months.
All right, Brian,
I'm glad you also hate
Lee,
the Astros.
Lee would like to come
That's
in and
fine.
commentate.
Lee'll actually help.
Okay.
So.
I don't. I'm not here to help.
I know.
I'm here to watch. I don't know what everybody thinks I do here. Besides sort cards,
You sort
Why do you
cards.
do that?
You're a professional card sorter.
and then he runs
Oh.
away. See?
We were gonna get Lee to come commentate, and then he walked away.
All right.
This guy doesn't even sort cards. What are you talking about?
Are you back, Lee?
All right, we're good.
Good. Teach
All
us
right.
how to play Ice Tray.
Yeah. Ice. Can you explain ice tray?
Kid, does
And then explain why you're not in the top.
All right.
does Elliott stand a chance without a single crushing hammer in his deck?
I think it's pretty close. Who went first in this matchup?
Jake went first, but Jake missed the turn 1 attachment, but Elliott missed the turn 2
Yeah,
attack.
it looks like he whipped the VMAX too, so he had to just go for Pierce. I think if Elliott got the VMAX there, it would have been a lot better for him. But
Yeah, at this point, if you're Elliott, you just hit with the V here and just say, I'm not bothering with the VMAX.
yeah, I'm a little confused why. I think Jake had knockout, I believe. Yeah, if he gotten the quick shooting and Talon with his last incense, he could have just pinged the active and knocked out that Ice Rider right there.
I wonder, is he choosing to let Elliott knock himself out?
Ooh. I think if I'm Jake, I just knock out the thing that can do the most damage to me. Cause sure, now I guess he gets an extra prize if he knocks it out, but now it's just doing an extra 250 damage that he could have avoided by just knocking out that V.
That
And
makes
then,
sense.
and then you force Elliott to have a Melanie with the Suicune, because that's the only thing he can attack with, since then he doesn't have another Ice Rider down. So
That's
I
true.
think if I'm Jake there, it might have been a misplay not knocking out that Ice Rider when he had the chance before it evolved.
I also like with Jake's bench this small, the Suicune's also just not doing anything. So forcing it to attack is like,
Right, yeah,
what's it
it's
doing?
good for you. Yeah.
5, 6, 7 if Elliott can fill his bench, so that's 160 damage. It is 2-shotting, but that requires Elliott to find multiple Pokemon and the Melanie and the attachment. That's just a lot to ask for.
Yeah, exactly. So if I'm Jake there, I just knock out the thing. So now Elliott gets a free 250 damage before this thing goes down, which is just, it's still not a bad spot for Jake, but it definitely could have been better.
And Captain, you missed it last round. Kobe, Lee, you'd be proud of this. Kobe drizziled for a crushing hammer and hit heads.
Yes, that's my man That's my man Kobe right there. Brrr. Dragapult Hammer is in top 4 right now against Single Strike. It's brother against brother.
Yes, we have 2 Dragapults. One with hammers. Jake's does not run hammers.
Yes. which ironically does make this matchup a little better, because he probably runs more consistency cards instead of the hammers.
Yes.
So and hammers don't matter too much against Ice Tray. So
No, any Melanie deck, you don't really care about hammers.
Right.
Or any good Melanie deck, I guess. Surfing Pikachu, sure.
Surfing Pikachu.
Probably shouldn't tech against that.
4 Drizzle for 4 hammer, perfect math. Yep, insane math.
240, 290, so 30 HP left. Oh, but Elliott doesn't have a single Drizzile down, so he can't pull some quick shooting shenanigans.
Yeah, definitely. So if I'm Jake here, I think I just get the quick shooting down. He should have probably got quick shooting down last turn just to start calling up some damage. But he can still make a pretty good play, just quick shooting one of the Sawbles, knock one of them out, and then just spread his damage out.
That's what I was going to say. I assume the way Jake wins this game is KO active, KO a Sawble, and then KO one of the Suicunes for
Yeah,
game,
and
right?
it looks like one of the Suicunes already has 50 damage on it, so that's the Suicune you want to just KO. And if I'm Elliott there, I would have prioritized setting up another Ice Rider instead of Suicune, because Suicune's more fragile to Dragapult knocking it out. And Ice Rider has more HP, right? So you just force a different price trade.
I wonder, you played against him. Does Elliott play Cape of Toughness?
Elliott does play 2 Cape of Toughness, yes.
Okay.
So it does help if he can get him out soon.
I don't know. I assume Jake plays
Yeah, I'm not
tool
sure.
removal, but I don't actually know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Jake plays the Tool Jammer or the Tool Scrapper, so, or if he does, or if he runs any Tool Disruption at all.
We have to assume he does, right?
Yeah.
Your Drizzile deck and your Dragapult. Dragapult has so much room to play whatever it is you want.
All right. So if I'm Jake here, all I really need this turn is another quick shooting Inteleon, and that's a level. Whoop. That's the
There's
path.
the path. Does
I
Elliot
guess
play any stadiums?
he runs Path as well, and he already used Crobat, so I guess you prevent the Suicune from using Fleetfoot, but I mean it's not as important as it would have been
Yes,
if it would have stopped the Crobat.
Although losing your Fleetfoot and losing your Sobble here
Yeah,
feels like a
I
pretty
mean,
big deal.
Yeah, I mean it is just one card, but who knows? It could have been a really important card if he was able to Fleetfoot into it.
How much Suicune have you played?
I think I played it at one event, and I was like,
The amount of times you Fleetfoot into the exact card you need
Yeah.
is really high.
I'll take your word on that. I haven't played too much Suicune. Not a big fan of the deck, but I mean, it's doing pretty well here. So
Oh, and that's a huge. Also getting the quick shooting down, so there's
Yeah.
70 damage now on that Suicune.
right, so all it takes is one boss and one quick shooting away from knocking it out, unless Elliot finds the cape soon. All right, there's the Melon to the active, and there's a Drizzile, so he can find the cape if it's not already in his hand. And I saw Jake discard one boss, so I mean, Elliot could try to think maybe he doesn't have the second boss. I mean, he has no Solvo down, so the only way he can search out boss is with the Shady Dealings and Inteleon.
Yeah, which feels so unlikely because he's already played Evolution Incense, I think 2 of them, so there's like maybe 1 left in deck,
Right.
and 1 Shady Dealing, so it just feels so unlikely you find it.
Yeah, and Jake also has a big hand, and Elliot was forced to Melanie instead of Marnie, so
Yes.
pretty sure Jake might have it in hand unless it's prized. That's the only way I see him not having it in this hand.
And yeah, Elliot's got KO. I was looking at what this Dragapult has, but it's got the black and the orange damage
Right,
counter,
yeah,
so there's,
so
two,
yeah.
there's 290 on it.
Yeah,
That
it is
thing's
getting
KO'd.
it is gonna get KO'd, which is fine for Jake. All he pretty much has his game wrapped up, assuming he has the cards in hand and the cards in his massive hand, I should say.
Yes. Jake has all the cards in the world. He's still got quick shooting to apply pressure. And honestly, Jake doesn't even have to win next turn.
I'm not sure how many prizes Elliot. I don't think he's taken a single prize yet, has he?
Oh, Elliot's... I don't think so. No, Elliot has not taken a prize card.
Yeah, he's not taking prize. So yeah, Jake does have time if he somehow doesn't have boss in his hand to just target down that Suicune eventually. Alright, he's promoted the Dragapult, so I'm assuming that means he has it.
I mean, if he doesn't bench anything, the Dragapult doesn't even get knocked out.
Right.
Well, VMAX
Yeah,
anyway.
there it is, and the boss. I mean, that's low ball, that's not incense, so.
You can grab a Sobble to potentially set up for next turn. Eyeing up the boss.
Oh, wait, no,
No,
you can't
no.
do that, you can't do that, you can't do that.
Jake!
Jake,
Can't do that.
You level ball, not incense.
There you go. They got it. Jake got a little too excited there.
You can't do that, it's not that great. It's not that good, man. Alright.
Ooh, that would be disgusting. That would not
Yeah,
be
so
fair.
you cannot level ball for Shady Dealings and Inteleon is what we learned from that interaction right there. So,
You'd be amazed what we've learned on stream so far.
Yeah.
We also learned Mew does not evolve into Flying Pikachu VMAX.
Right.
Yo, what up, Rima? How
Yeah,
you doing?
I also learned today that G-Max 1 blow does not get through resistance, which I just assumed it would, you know, because it just all affects, but
Yep.
resistance is not an effect, so
Correct.
that's something I learned today.
Very important thing. to
Yeah,
learn.
considering how much Pokemon I play, I should have known that, but you know, you never know how much you can learn just from playing Pokemon.
You'd be amazed. I had to appeal that decision at San Diego Regionals up to the head judge. And it was just like, just read the compendium, please. Like,
Right.
you're wrong.
Read the card!
Yes.
But yeah, there's the low ball for Drizzile. It's not Sobble, so I'm assuming that means Jake is out of Sobbles. Which means it can get tricky for him to find that last boss.
Yes, and if Elliot... do you know how many Suicunes Elliot plays? Is there a
Those
third
are
one?
those are 2 Suicunes that Elliot plays, yes. He runs 2 Suicunes, 2 Capes.
So Jake essentially has checkmate by going 130 and 50 on the bench, correct? Because
Yes,
Elliot
yes.
can't build up a new one.
Right, exactly, yeah. So Jake's still in a good spot despite whipping the boss. Yeah, he just set up 2 Suicunes to get knocked out. So now Elliot can't attack with the active Suicune or the bench Suicune, or else he'll just lose the game. So if I'm Elliot here,
And you can't... Unfortunately, you can't Melanie to a non-V as well, so you can't even attack with a what's it called? Inteleon. There we go.
Right. Let's see. That Suicune has 190 on it? No, 170 on it. So what Elliot can do here is get an Ice Rider, retreat the Suicune, get a cape on the Suicune, pierce, and then set up for an max lance. Oh, he does run 3 Suicune. Okay, here. There's the 3rd Suicune apparently.
Okay, so super important there for Elliot.
Yeah, that's his 3rd Suicune. Yeah, I didn't see that in the matches we played, but he does run 3 Suicune, looks like. So now he can actually attack with the fresh Suicune right here.
Although, so it's got 170 on it, right? 6, 12, 12 plus 5, yeah.
Yeah, so
It gets KO'd off the bench.
Elliot still needs a cape in order to prevent Jake from winning here. Let's see.
And this is where the fleet-footed is coming in play. These are 2 extra cards he would have drawn without the Path of the Future.
Right, yeah. So oh, there's a Fan of Waves. All right, that shuffles the Horror Energy back in, so no Max Phantom.
And there's the cape. Well, there's the Inteleon.
There's the Shady Dealings Inteleon. So yeah, one of those has to be cape. The other one probably, if he doesn't have an energy in hand, has to be bucket.
And also, time this is relevant. If Jake plays Tool Jammer, it doesn't help here. Jake has to play Tool Scrapper.
Right, yeah, it has to be a Scrapper because Jammer only prevents tools on the active. So
one of those times, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it never matters." Potentially matters a ton here.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for Elliot for fixing the math for us though, for us a little with the dice. Yeah, it does have 170 on it, so let's see. Jake would need double Inteleon ping or just boss and energy. Well, he needs an energy to attack with Max Phantom first of all, since Elliot Panda waves his Horror Energy away. So there's a route for Elliot to win here if Jake whiffs the next turn knockout.
It's always that feeling of your opponent gets to win before you win, and you just pray they don't have it.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what's in Ellie's deck. It looks like he has a Sobble left, a Raihan, an Incense. So, yeah. Still has Palpad left. That Palpad's an interesting inclusion, but it seems to be working out for Elliot really well. It certainly helped us, helped him in our match. Just being able to recover double boss, double Melanie, pretty good.
That's gross.
Yeah.
And yo, thank you for the follow, Lagar Corsa. Appreciate that.
All right, there's the cape.
Long search, yes. This is a situation where Elliot made a play without really knowing what to do. And so sometimes you're searching the deck a little longer.
It looks like there's a quick ball.
Yo, Ryan coming in with a 17 months. I appreciate that, Fire.
All right, there's the cape. All right, so that's the important part. Just prevent that thing from getting knocked out.
Yes.
There's a Sobble. That's fine. If Jake wants to target that down, he only gives him 1 prize. So.
Correct.
So
I was thinking, because this thing has like, what, 150, 160?
Yeah, it looks like it has 1. So that one, one of the Suicunes has 120, one has 170. So.
Gazer, thank you for the bits.
There's a quick ball. Yeah, Pap is useless at this point, so it's just discard fodder for the quick balls now.
Yeah, just get out anything you can.
So let's see, 170, and making sure I do my math right. Yeah, so 2 quick shooting Inteleons and an energy for Max Phantom will win Jake the game. Because it does exactly 260 to the bench, assuming he doesn't have the boss.
A lot of outs.
Yeah.
Quick shooting is an out. Shady Dealings Inteleon is an out as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of outs for Jake, but he didn't have it last turn, so it makes me think that he has to top deck it. And, I mean, there's still a lot of dead cards in his deck, so he might not have it, and if he doesn't, that gives Elliot a chance to win with a boss of his own. Alright, there's the...
Ooh, Jake holding that hand a little too close for us to see.
There's the Suicune attack, and...
But he hasn't thrown it down.
Looks like a full art research to me.
There's the energy.
Oh.
There's a crystal, there's some blue stuff.
Yeah, okay, there's
and a Marnie.
Okay.
I think that's game. He has to retreat.
I mean, he can still win with a quick shooting Inteleon here.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right,
quick
that's right.
shooting Inteleon, Incense.
There's more blue stuff.
There's the quick shooting. All right. Yeah, I mean, it is complicated math sometimes, so maybe he might miss it, but I'm pretty sure he'll see it.
That was a very quick play, so I do not
there.
believe he missed it.
Yes. All right, no quick shooting there. All right, now he just has to put all 5 on that Suicune, and he takes game 1. And yeah, Elliot's just fixing the math for us.
You love to do it. Pokemon players count by 6s. 18 plus 3, 210. So that is the exact amount. Cape of Toughness giving 50 extra HP.
Yeah, it looks like Jake's double checking his math here, but I'm assuming since he put the quick shooting damage onto the Suicune, he sees it. Yeah, and yeah,
there
he does take the knockout. Yes, so that game 1 goes to Jake. So pretty well played from both players. I think Jake made a misplay. Turn 1 or turn 2 by not just knocking out the Ice Rider when it was just a V, when Elliot with the V max. So he got unnecessary damage on his Dragapult that he didn't need to be damaged.
Yes, because that would have put him up like a whole extra turn.
Yeah, and then Elliot would have attacked with Suicune, but Suicune's not doing as much damage as the Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX would have. So, but overall, well played from both players there. Jake not having a game in that huge hand of a low surprise, and it did get Elliot a chance there. Made things a little exciting for us, but...
Oh, for sure. Another thing with Elliot not setting up a second Ice Rider VMAX?
Yeah, I'm assuming. Let's see. I think he only runs a 2/2, so I'm assuming one of them might have been prized as well.
Yeah, so
I think that's the only reason.
Prized or was discarded early with the research or something like that. That's
right. Either that or Elliot just thought that Suicune was his best chance of winning the game at that point. But if I'm Elliot here, I think I just set up double Ice Rider. Ice Rider is great against Dragapult, so. All right, looks like their table shuffling up.
Ooh, I wonder. We saw Kobe playing a suspicious food tin.
Suspicious food tin? Ooh.
So I wonder if Jake has something like that in the deck. We haven't seen it yet, but that is something else that can throw off the math as well, pretty effectively.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Jake's list since I didn't play against him in this event. Now Elliot does run 2 capes, the 1 Pal Pad. I think he runs 1 Scrapper as well. So I don't think that'll matter in this matchup, but just some normal text for the traditional Ice Rider list.
I love how you're calling it Ice Rider instead of Suicune.
Well, no. Yeah, it's still an Ice Rider deck. Well, technically there is more Suicune than there is Ice Rider in Elliot's deck, but we'll still call it Ice Rider for now.
That works.
That's the real MVP of the deck. Alright, looks like they're shuffling up for game 2. Hey Cameron, what's the score over there?
Alright, so we're assuming Elliot's going to be going first.
Cameron's up 1?
No, it's game 1.
Oh.
Game 1, okay.
Alright, Single Strike versus Dragapult. Still game 1, surprisingly enough.
And they have 1 prize each.
And it's 1 prize each, so Dragapult could pull off a game 1 upset against Single Strike.
That would be impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe does run hammers. I wonder, we can ask him afterwards if those hammers actually ended up mattering.
There's no way those hammers matter.
I mean,
Never.
if you just rip the Single Strike energy off the Umbreon can attack, so it could matter. And Single Strike is known to be a little bit inconsistent, so you never know.
That is true. That is very true.
It is a little bit of a pile, as the community would like to say.
As the kids these days are always calling decks.
I'm not sure if Elliot Fleetfoot before he level balled. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say he did. So, looks like he's level balling and
5,
quick balling.
6, 7, 8 cards in hand, so yes.
There's the quick ball way of Melanie. Usually a pretty good card, but I guess Elliot thinks the other cards in his hand are too worthwhile to discard.
There's a Drizzile, a second Melanie. What is the full art? Scoop Up Net, a Drizzile.
Scoop Up Net, yeah.
He's getting rid of a lot of really good resources here. If I'm Jake, I pray I have a Marnie in my hand, right?
Right.
Because you see him discard these 2, you know those other cards are good, put them on the bottom of the deck, and you are in such a good spot.
Yeah. I think if I'm Jake here, I don't know if I'm with Marnie, because even if you think Elliot's hand is good, it's still only a 4-card hand, right? It can't be that great off a 4-card hand, so...
I don't know, he's time to get rid of a Melanie and a Drizzile.
Right.
Although, I guess he's going to miss the attachment for turn, which means if there's a Melanie in hand, you kind of assume there's no water energy, so... Actually, maybe you wouldn't, you're right.
Yeah. I think, did Elliot need to get that aggressive with his quick balls? I don't know. Yeah, I guess he wants to get set up more, but he does discard a lot of valuable resources. I'm wondering one of those quick balls could have been held. I think 1 Salvo and 1 Ice Rider would have been enough. Just have 1 Drizzile access. But I guess he really wanted double Salvo. And I guess if he did whip the turn 1 energy attachment, he probably wants to try to get off a Melanie and attack play.
Yeah, because you know it's not getting hit or KO'd next turn.
Right.
Although I guess you play the 60 HP, so maybe you're afraid and you want to get them evolved to Drizziles.
Right.
quickly.
The problem is since he burned 2 quick balls, those are one of your best ways to get rid of water energies and put them in the discard, right? So now, I don't think he can get off, since he used those 2 quick balls without discarding a water off him, he can't really Melanie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like his hand is just Melanie, Drizzile, and Net. So, I mean, he can go Drizzile for a bucket, and then Scoop Up Net Drizzile for quick ball, and then get off an attack. But then, I don't know, that's a lot just for 1 attack, and you're probably knocking out a Salvo. You're not even going to be attacking Dragapult, so we'll see if Elliot thinks it's worth it, or else he might just have to whip another turn of attacking.
Is it correct to get rid of the Drizzile over the net there? Like, do you want to get the second Sobble on the bench, or do
Yeah.
you want to get them into Drizziles to not get knocked out sooner.
Right. I think the only reason you would hold the net there is you're afraid of getting one of your salvos bossed, and then you can just scoop up net the Drizzile and then just chain it and get your salvos out of the active. But I think if I'm Elliot there, I just keep the second Drizzile so you can go double Drizzile and then have double or access to double Inteleon next turn.
That's fair.
So I think I would have discarded the net there over the second Drizzile if I was Elliot.
And then we're going to see a quick ball of the water, activating that Melanie. Goes back to Jake is definitely hoping for a Marnie. You're watching this happen, you're like,
Yeah, I think if I'm Elliot there, those extra quick balls were a little bit aggressive first turn, because if he had just held the hand, he could just Drizzle out for bucket, and then he already had 2 quick balls in hand, right?
Yep, with the Melanie, and he's good to go.
He could have just quick balled away one of the waters and then Melanie, and because he already had the Melanie in hand, he wouldn't have to search for it.
Yep.
I think Elliot, I mean, he had the same plan going for him turn 2. He just made it a lot more complicated than it needs to be, and he burned through a lot more resources, because now he's down 3 quick ball and an extra Melanie pretty much.
Yes, and I guess running the Pal Pad does let him be a little more aggressive with those Melanies, because you're draw it eventually, probably.
Right. But again, you would rather have use of those Melanies instead of just discarding them immediately.
Yes.
Yeah. And then there's the Fleetfoot. Once again, he should have Fleetfooted before he did all this. But
yes, 100% agree.
It's a very common mistake, but I would like to see that at this point in the event.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Especially if you Fleetfooted into a bucket or a quick ball there,
exactly,
your whole turn
or
is
not
way
even,
down.
not even that, just a water energy, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, and then he can just Melanie and then search for the bucket if he whipped the water. But yeah, I don't know if I agree with this play, just going so aggressive just to knock out a Sobble here. But we'll see how it goes.
And there's the energies. We're going to see a Max Phantom here from Jake.
Yeah, there's the Max Phantom. Does he have the Zigzagoon and just get rid of one of these Sobbles? And I think that would put him in a pretty good spot.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
These Ice Rider, Melanie decks, whatever you want to call them, they crumble when you get rid of those Sobbles.
Right,
early.
exactly.
I know playing a lot of Rapid Strike, being able to G-Max Rapid Flow 2 Drizziles is always just like, okay, now what?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's why not having Mew in the format is pretty big, because decks like Rapid Strike or decks like just anything that can snipe the bench is a pretty good advantage. Jolteon, we didn't see much of it today, but that's been a very popular deck in the current meta.
We did see one last round in top 8.
Last round top 8?
Made it pretty far. Some questionable sequencing, ended up losing the game, but we saw the power of just 100 snipe.
Right, just focusing on the bench and not allowing your opponent to, set up their Drizzle engine can be a big deal.
Oh yeah.
All right. Oh man, looks like Jake's hand's dead. So if I'm Elliot here, I think I'll be tempted to just knock out the Sobble, just because Jake's hand's dead and you get rid of his access to Drizzile.
Do you like targeting down the Sobble here versus like maybe targeting down an Ice Rider?
That is a good point. Since he's not knocking out the Sobble, I don't. Yeah, I think I would have just targeted the Ice Rider if he wasn't able to knock out the Sobble. I think the only reason I would target the Sobble is if I able to knock it out with a Zigzagoon ping as well.
Right, because if it gets evolved, it just feels like wasted damage.
Yeah, it's just a big 320 HP just going at you at full force.
And I think in addition to that, I mean, there could be a Zigzagoon in hand or something like that. That'd be stupid. Then he would have knocked it out.
Right.
Like what you could have done is gone 3 here on the Sobble and then 2 on the Ice Rider. So you're still pressuring the Ice Rider. If it gets evolved to a Drizzile, you can still KO it.
Right.
And if it doesn't get evolved into a Drizzile, you can still KO it.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good play. Yeah, just 3-2. Just put some damage on the Ice Rider so you don't have a fresh 320 HP just going at you after the Suicune gets knocked out.
Oh yeah, because you have to 2-shot that thing.
Right, yeah.
If you 3-shot it, you lose the game.
Definitely. And it looks like Jake's setup isn't that great this game as opposed to last game. Last game we saw him get a couple Drizziles down. This time he only has one Sobble out. And it still doesn't look like he has access to a Drizzile.
No, Jake has had just enough cards to make it look like he has a chance.
Right, he's pretty much running a straight Dragapult list at this point since he can't seem to find his Drizziles out.
This is bad Green's Dragapult right now. No, if Jake can get down a Dragapult V here, he cannot.
Alright, there is a knock on Suicune and the Sobble, and he is targeting the Ice Rider, so he is targeting the Ice Rider now, which I suppose is fine. I mean, that's one less Sobble that Elliot will have access to, and you have some damage on the Ice Rider. But now if this Ice Rider just knocked out the Dragapult, I think Elliot's in a really good spot.
6, 12, 14, yes. So we can knock out with 1 energy as well, so Elliot can still boss next turn, which is so big.
Kenny is, it's 140, right?
Yep. Oh wait, no, he can't.
Yeah, he
No,
can.
so Elliot can't boss. So Jake is still in this game.
Right, no, but he attached the extra energy, so now he actually can boss.
Okay.
So he can discard 2. He has 1 energy left, so he can go attach boss for next
Perfect.
turn as well. So
Because that's the only way Jake wins this game is if Elliot cannot boss KO Dragapult V next.
Right. And there's the incense from Elliot. Yeah, there's the Ice Rider. We saw him whip it last game, not this game though. And there's the level ball. I don't know what else Elliot wants at this point. Probably just setting up for the next turn. Incense, sure. I guess he wants access to quick shooting and or shady dealings next turn.
Yeah, having access to shady dealings feels really good.
Right. The only thing I would be scared of is Jake has a Marnie and then your incense gets shuffled to the bottom and you wasted your Sabo on a Drizzile.
Yes.
And then you might break off that, but other than that, I guess he just wants to set up. And this does give him another out to another quick shooting next turn, so I don't mind this play at all.
And there is the KO.
There's the Max Lance, and now this is Jake's last turn to draw something.
And thankfully Jake did get 3 prizes, so there's got to be something in here, right?
Right, yeah, he did take 3 prizes, so there should have been something in this prize. A Fog Crystal. I probably wanted that last turn to get another Dragapult down, but I'll take it this turn.
Now Jake's also looking for a Marnie, because you saw Elliot grab the Evolution Incense, so
Right.
you know he's got access to, or you assume he's got access to.
Alright, looks like a Raihan, so I think Elliot might, yeah, Elliot definitely has this game in hand. Assuming the Shady Dealings and Teleon isn't prized.
And there's no way you grab the incense if you don't know what's in here.
Yeah.
Or at least there's no way you should.
Yeah, so it looks like this may be heading to game 3 here shortly enough, once Jake's end his turn.
Let's see. Oh, there is no timer on the round. Alright, so no idea how much time is actually left in the round.
So yeah, so we just have to, we'll play it as soon as the timer issue comes up, because sudden death is a thing in Top Cut, so.
Yes. And in Top Cut, I have to assume Suicune is way favored in
Oh,
sudden death.
definitely, yeah. If it gets to sudden death, then Elliot's definitely favored, because he can actually one-shot, while Jake, assuming Elliot doesn't put down Salvos in sudden death against Jake's Dragapult will have a 3-shot and Ice Rider, which isn't great.
Yes, but that is a good point. Salvo is 60 HP, you can go boss shred. Because Jake will get to go first if there is a game.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't think it'll come to that. We still have a lot of time on the clock, but
That's true. This game is almost over.
Yeah. So I don't think that'll happen this round, but that is a good thing to know if you were playing in events. Alright, looks like he got a level ball for Sobble. I mean, he could have just searched out the Sobble with Raihan.
An issue of doing this too is now if Elliot doesn't have boss this turn, you give another turn to get boss because you just go knockout active boss.
Oh,
that
that is a
thing.
good point, yeah. And another thing is, now you give access, you give Elliot access to knock out with Ride the High King instead of forcing him to discard with Max Lands. Or just
3, 6, 7. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my
so
gosh.
now it's perfect 70. I mean, Elliot could have had Ride at the High King plus double quick shooting Inteleon, but then you force the Inteleon pings onto the Sobble, which is much better than forcing him to Dragapult. But I'm pretty sure Elliot just has this game.
And there's Shady Dealings for boss.
Yeah,
And yep.
I mean, you could have made Elliot show the energy too, but Jake probably knows that Elliot has an energy in that huge hand. So, yeah, that's game 2, and moving on to game 3.
See, after seeing 2 games, who do you think is favored in this matchup?
I think Jake going first is a big deal, so I think that gives Jake a little bit of an advantage. But I think Ice Rider is just generically favored in this matchup just because it can do so much more damage output than Dragapult can. But
I would agree. But granted, I'm a Dragapult hater. Every time people say Dragapult's good, I think it does 130 damage. That can't be good. Versus, like you said, Ice Rider
right, it
does
just,
a lot.
yeah, I can turn 2 130, and I guess you do 50 to the bench, but turn 2 130 versus turn 2 250 is a big deal. So,
Right?
all right. So I guess it just depends on how well each player's opening start is.
Yes, and that is the nice thing about both decks is they're very low maintenance. Like both these decks should be able to set up with no problem.
Right.
Keyword is should.
Yeah,
We've
but
all
you
had
never
those
know.
hands.
I guess if you're looking at it from a consistency standpoint, Jake's deck might be a bit more consistent because it has access to Fog Crystal.
Yep.
And that can search out your energies and your Dragapult. Elliot, if he starts, let's say, a Salvo and can't get his Ice Ride down, he only runs 4 Quick Ball, right?
Yep.
So that's a 4 versus 8 access to your main attacking Pokemon.
We haven't seen capture energy from Elliot, right?
Yeah, he does run 1 capture energy, though.
Here's the one
He
capture.
run 1
okay,
capture, yes.
that kind of counts, I guess. But
Yeah, that does count
it's
as
like a fifth quick ball, yeah.
But if you're attaching Capture Energy to your Sobble, you're not attaching it to the Ice Rider, which is another problem.
Yep.
But
And that's not activating Melanie, that's not activating Raihan, so
Right.
that's a really big deal.
So Elliot does start the Ice Rider. That's a big deal for him. He only plays 2, so he seems to be starting a lot more than I do, and I run 3, which is unfortunate, but we won't talk about that.
All I've learned is Elliot's better than you.
Yeah, apparently. And Jake starts his 1-6 again. That's so unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. It's a great start for Elliot so far, bad start for Jake so far.
I guess on the plus side, we'll see what else Jake does. Probably just bad. But it's going to get pierced, and then you want to scoop up net it no matter what. So you'd rather scoop up net that than a Sobble, technically.
Right.
Obviously, you want to drizzle all the Sobble and then scoop up net it. But
Yeah, that's a good point. So this Zigzagoon can technically soak up damage, but I mean that's one less Goon Ping that you can use. And now if you want to use the Goon Ping, you have to waste a net on it, which is just kind of unfortunate.
yes. Especially when Elliot only plays the 60 HP Sobble.
And I don't think, Jake has a Dragapult in hand because he just shuffled his deck.
Oh,
He shuffled his deck after the level ball, so I'm assuming that means he's not going in, which means, yeah, that happens. He just attaches the Zigzagoon and pass.
Not a great spot. The game's not over, of course, but
Yeah,
feels bad for
That's a
Jake.
big advantage for Elliot now. He seems to have quite a bit in his hand.
Elliot's hand looks really
looks
good. There's a quick ball.
Looks like he already has the Ice Rider VMAX in hand.
There goes the second Ice Rider.
Yeah.
So we're going to see one VMAX in this game.
Yeah. He is getting a Salvo down, which is pretty important.
Let's see what else is in that hand. I think there was a Drizzile for next turn.
I think
if remember.
Elliot does have some live cards at least, so.
Yeah, Melanie currently not live. Obviously, attaching the water energy signifies I don't have access to a Melanie.
Yeah, if I'm Elliot and I see my opponent attach a second energy to Zigzagoon, I'm like, this game has to be mine, I mean, there is obviously a chance that Jake can come back, but you're just so far ahead at this point. It's only turn 2.
As a competitive player, you don't think my opponent's got a chance. You think, how do I capitalize on this?
Right,
and win?
how do I just push him down and so he can't come back on me is what I'm thinking if I'm Elliot right now.
And if you're Jake, you haven't lost the game yet at all.
Yeah,
but every move you make has to be perfect.
Right, so he does, I mean, I'm assuming Jake has at least a Drizzile in his hand since he's lovable. Oh, there's the Research. Is that double
2
drag?
VMAXs.
I think that's 2 VMAX and an energy, which is pretty important.
I'm assuming he runs 3 VMAX?
Yeah.
Is that typical? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 4-3 line usually. So it's unfortunate that he was unable to evolve any of those Dragapult VMAXs before they hit this card. So
But as long as the third one's in deck, it's probably fine.
yeah, but the thing is now Elliot only has to worry about 1 Dragapult VMAX as opposed to 2.
Yes.
So that could be a problem for Jake. And I'm assuming he doesn't run the ordinary rod because that's not usually typical in Dragapult lists. So could get nasty here for Jake.
Shady
So
Dealing Super Style for energy. Okay, so Jake's in an okay spot unless Elliot goes attached Evolve Boss.
Yes. If Elliot has that, I think Jake just scoops it up very much. He's already behind at this point, so if Elliot has that, I think you can call it game. But
What else does Jake have access to? There's some blue stuff in the hand, so there's got to be getting rid of a second dragon.
I'm hoping he has another Dragapult in hand because
There it is.
okay,
So thinning the
probably
deck.
just thinning the deck, yeah. But man, losing 2 Dragapult VMAX, just hitting the discard like that. Now Elliot just has to worry about 1 Dragapult VMAX for the entire game. And I mean, Jake can Jet Assault, but the problem is Ice Rider VMAX knocks out the baby Dragapult V in one shot. So
And the 140 is not even that good because then you have to Raihan the following turn.
right, and you have to like get into the active, so you have to promote a different Pokemon that's
Yeah.
not to be, and then get into the active for Jet Assault to do the maximum damage.
And yeah, that's one of the things about these current Dragapult lists. They run like 0 switches, maybe 1 escape rope.
Yeah, maybe-
So you just say, I'm never going to Jet Assault.
Right, you usually run like 2 nets, 1 rope, or a rope and a net, but usually not enough to keep Jet Assaulting. So, and okay, there's a Drizzile for the bucket. Bucket gets 2. Now, if Elliot has a boss in hand, I didn't see it in his hand, but he could have it. That'd be a big step for him.
There's definitely a Melanie in hand. I don't know what the other 2 cards are, though. Well,
Okay.
we'll get to see it again.
Yeah, there's the bucket for 2.
But even without the boss at this point, you're just getting pretty far ahead.
Yeah,
Ice Rider having turns where you don't have to use Melanie is terrifying.
yeah, definitely. Ooh.
One of my goals every time I'm playing against Suicune or Ice Rider is I'm going to force them to Melanie as often as possible to prevent them from bossing, and that's usually a pretty effective way to beat them, or at least have a chance against them.
Right, it looks like Nelly's doing a smart thing here, just getting rid of an energy, so he has, since the only live card in his hand is Melanie, getting rid of a water so he can Melanie and draw more cards, so good play for Elliot there.
Yeah, I was about to ask if that is the optimal way to do it,
Yeah.
but getting it in the discard is too important to...
Right, yeah, he didn't have any water energy, so he couldn't Melanie that turn, so now, since he does have the water now, he can Melanie next turn, and try to get some more stuff set up.
Right on. I learned something new there.
Yeah. There's a Drizzile. So I'm assuming this is got to find an incense for the last Dragapult VMAX, unfortunately. So.
And there's the incense. Shady dealings.
Shady dealings and Teleon, okay.
I wonder what else he's looking for here. Where he values that over like a quick shooting. Incense. The other card, a draw supporter?
Alright, there's incense and crystal.
Crystal
okay.
for the energy. Okay, I get this play now.
So yeah, he's gonna get the max phantom. Problem is he doesn't have enough quick shooting and Teleons to ping this Ice Rider down to a 2-shot, so you might have to 3-shot it.
Yep, because there's no horror energies on the active too, which is huge. The Zigzagoon's gone for good.
Right. And Jake hasn't gotten his quick shooting and Teleons out, so the Ice Rider's gonna get 3-shot, and that's not a winning strategy for Jake.
No, when you're getting 2-shot, you don't want to play the 3-shot.
Right.
It's very basic math there. All right.
Okay, there's another Sobble down.
Sobble's
that's fine.
good. Jake flailing his hands. Apparently not happy with his current situation.
Yeah, that's the max phantom. That's the best he can do at this point. Yeah, he only has 2 cards in hand. There's a Melanie.
Yep.
Yeah, if I'm Melanie here, I don't really need anything. I can even attach an extra energy to the active because you know it's not going to get knocked out next turn. Or you can just set up a bench attacker.
Yeah, he's also got a Suicune in hand.
Yeah, he has Suicune in hand, so he can just bench that and start attaching to it if he wants.
5 prize cards remaining for Elliot. How are you winning this game? Are you going through 2 VMAXs to win this game? No, you only have to go through 1.
No, you only have to go through 1 because there's too many Pokemon for Jake to scoop up now, so he can just knock out one of those Inteleons, Drizzles, or the Sobble and just take his last prize card.
Yeah, so it seems like an easy 2-shot this one, and then probably KO the V.
Right.
I'd say because it can't be VMAX.
Yeah, so, no, this is fine. He just Ride the High Kings, the active, and now it's setting up for the max lance KO on the next turn, and then he just boss knock out a Drizzile or an Inteleon next turn with
Elliot
the Suicune.
didn't attach there.
Yeah, I would have benched. I think he scared the max phantom damage, but I'm already so far ahead. All you need to do is chain attackers and you win. So if I'm Elliot there, I just bench the Suicune and start attaching to it.
I think I agree 100%, right? Like, the way you lose this game is by falling behind, not by letting them take 5 damage counters on your thing.
Right, exactly. Looks like Jake's hand is still dead, though, so I don't think it'll matter too much. But that was a little bit of a misstep by Elliot, because if Jake had a Marnie there, it could have gotten real bad.
Yeah, this is a super unfortunate game 3 here from Jake.
Yeah, it looks like there's nothing in hand. He's just, okay, there's, like
There
I
we
said,
go.
it should have came down a turn earlier, but looks like it's still fine here. Yeah, don't involve that Sobble, just leave it open for Drizzle access. Take the 20 from Horror, which he did.
Yes, and one of the biggest ways you
Oh, he only has, so he had 5 prizes, so he just took 3. So he actually does have to knock out this V. But like we said, Jake go through 3 VMAX so far because he had discard 2 without using them. So
that's not enough, right? 240 plus 40 is 280.
I mean, Bite does 30, so he might be 10 short.
Oh no, that would be enough,
right?
Because with the quick shooting.
Oh, quick shooting,
There
yeah,
we go.
quick shooting and the bite.
300 plus bite.
Okay. So that does give Jake access to draw the game out. Just
Drizzile able to grab a fog
yeah.
crystal here if needed.
I mean, if he doesn't have support, I'd definitely go for Marnie here because Elliot's hand is massive. So, and you just at this point you just have to hope to get lucky and just draw into the energy. I mean, you do have a lot of outs for energy in deck, so I think I just go for the Marnie here from Jake. Looks like he is scooping it up. So,
and that's it. Elliot's going to again make it to the finals. Elliot's made a heckin' lot of finals.
Yeah, looks like another finals for Ellie
Here at Tabletop. I'm gonna switch it over to the face cam.
Yeah.
So we see Ice Rider without hammers winning
Yeah.
the game.
Ice Rider Suicune without hammers, which I think is bad. I personally love the hammers, but you know, hey, congrats
So-
to Elliot for making it. So
Hammers help you beat Dragapult.
yes.
Do you believe you can beat Dragapult without hammers now?
Yeah, you definitely can, but it makes it so much easier.
Oh my
It just and flipping hammers is fun, man. What do you have against it? Flipping hammers is fun, right, chat?
You don't need hammers.
I mean, if you're gonna come to an event and not flip the opening, besides the opening die roll, you're not gonna flip dies. Why come, right? So might as well have cards that help you, have a little more fun.